Okay, in this video we are going to look at the solutions for numbers 1 through 3 in the final exam review. Number 1, we are converting percents to fractions and decimals. So if we take a look at the first one, we have 34.5%. So if I'm going to convert it to a fraction, the first thing I'm going to do is write it as an improper. So I'll go 2 times 34 is 68 plus 1 is 69. So I'm going to write that as 69 over 2%. And then remember, I always want to replace my percent sign with something equivalent. And I can use 1 over 100, all right, to replace my percentage. And then that would give me 69 over 200. And that does not reduce, so that's all we get. Now to do the decimal, I would take 34.5% and I would write it as 34.5%. Then again, I want to replace my percent with something equivalent. This time I'm going to use divide by 100, and then that is going to give me 0.345. All right, now if we look at the second one, this is a repeating decimal. So I know if I expand it out that the 2, the 5, and the 6 are repeating. So if I want to change it to a percent, I need to get a percent sign in there. I'm allowed to multiply by anything that is equivalent to 1. So I'm going to use 100% since it's equivalent to 1. And then I want to regroup this. So multiplying by 100 moves my decimal over 2 places. So I end up with 25.625, 625, and so on percent. So I'm going to write that as 25.625 with a bar over all of it percent. For my decimal, my fraction, I'm going to go back to the decimal. I have 3 repeating numbers. So I take the 256 and I put it over 3 nines. And that does not reduce from there. All right, so moving on to number 2, we have a ratio problem. The ratio of sophomores to juniors to seniors in Dr. Bailey's class is 2 to 3 to 4. If there's 27 students enrolled in the class, how many students of each classification are there? So I'm going to do a ratio box. I'm going to have to make it really small. So I've got sophomores, juniors, seniors, and then I want total as well. All right, so in my columns, I want ratio to actual. So my ratio is 2 to 3 to 4, and if I just add those, that gives me a total of 9. And then I know that there are 27 actual students enrolled. So remember, here we look for a multiplier. So 9 to 27, I see a multiplier of 3. So I can go across multiplying by 3. So that'll give me 12, 9, and 6. All right, so I would say there are 6 sophomores, 9 juniors, and 12 seniors. And if you want to check that, you can add those and make sure they add up to 27. All right, so number 3 is a percent increase. So I'm going to use another ratio box. Remember, these set up a little differently. I'm going to have the original, the increase, and the new. And instead of ratio to actual, I'm going to do percent to actual. Now your original percent is always 100. And I know that the electric bill started at 80 and went up to 112. So it was originally 80. The new bill was 112. Since it's an increase, I need to figure out what to add to 80 to get 112, and that would be 32. All right, I'm asked for the percent increase, so I'm going to put my X right where I see the increase and the percent come together. Now I can move that over into a proportion. All right, so I take the 2 completed rows. I'm going to go ahead and reduce 80 over 32. Let's think about what I could divide by. If I divided by 8, that would become 10 over 4, which would become 5 over 2. So I'm going to rewrite that real quick. 100 over x equals 5 over 2. All right, so if I cross multiply, I get 5x equals 200. Divide by 5, and I get x equals 40. So remember, this is already a percent, so this would represent a 40% increase in the electric bill.